Nearly a week after former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney's passing, one of his sons is speaking out for the first time. Ben Mulroney shared some fond memories he had of his father.
I don't think a day went by over the past at least year that I didn't talk to him at least once. I know that my brothers and sister talked to him regularly, multiple times a day. And he was always there to pick up the phone. If he didn't pick up the phone, he called you back in about 30 seconds. And that was a testament to the priorities that he had. You know, we were always his priority.
Brian Mulroney died last Thursday in Florida at the age of 84. He served as the country's 18th Prime Minister from 1984 to 1993. The former PM will be given a state funeral in Montreal later this month.
I'll just start by saying that I had a wonderful conversation with Prime Minister Trudeau, who shared his journey of grief with me. And he said, you know, 24 years later, if somebody says just the right thing, or maybe it's the wrong thing, I will be right back in that moment, and I'll have a moment where I can't stop myself from crying. And he said, you know, Ben, we should count ourselves as very lucky, because there are a lot of people for whom the passing of their parents means very little. And we are lucky enough that we get to feel this grief, because grief, as I believe the Queen once said, was the price we pay for love. Well, I'm lucky. I don't think I'm going to be carrying a whole lot of regret with me, and the regret that I am going to carry will be things beyond my control. I've been saying for years, and we've heard it before. We've seen the memes, and we've seen people say that, you know, the older I get, the more time I want to spend with my father, and I think that's the sign of a great relationship. So yes, I wish I could always have one more day, one more minute. But we said everything that needed to be said, and he never got off the phone without telling us that he loved us, and he never missed an opportunity to tell us he was proud of us. But I think I was taken aback by how many personal stories of his kindness Canadians remember, and so glad that part of him that we thought was ours belonged to so many. He was there all the time. I was asked to write an article in one of the national newspapers after Prime Minister Trudeau became Prime Minister, and the newspaper asked me to write something to his kids, and I referenced the fact that while my dad wasn't always present, he was always a presence. And I guarantee you that if we looked at his schedule, you know, they kept detailed records of where people were and what they did. If you looked at what my dad's daily schedule was, it would look like he was never there. But I can promise you, I don't often speak for my brothers or my sister, but I guarantee you that to a person, we always felt like my father was present, always. And that speaks to sort of the time when we were together, how present he was, and how much he cared about us and for us, so that even when he was on the other side of the world, he was just a phone call away. When I was very, very young, I fell off of a swing in the middle of the winter, landing on my back. And for a significant period of time, I didn't have any feeling south of my hips. And my father was on a plane from Ottawa to, I believe, Montreal or Toronto. And when he heard, and it was for a very big fundraiser, I believe. And when he heard that I had fallen and had a back injury, they turned that plane around, and he was with me in short order. I lost my RCMP protection detail skiing one day through no fault of my own. And
of course not.
And by the time I had gotten home, and I go into his room, my dad is lying on his bed with a folder already from the RCMP detailing my outrageous behavior. So there was no getting away from it. And I would have it no other way. But no matter how busy he was, we never ever felt that he wasn't there for us. and that he wasn't a presence wherever we went. He in fact, he told us every time we got in the car, every time we were driving somewhere, once we got our driver's licenses, he said, every time you look in that rearview mirror, I want you to see my face. I'm with you everywhere you go.